Hello and welcome to this EBSCO demonstration for YCLD. What we're going to talk about today is the EBSCO Journals database. So if you're looking for information, you might have already looked in some books for some theory, but what you need to look at is lots of different journals, and this is where EBSCO comes in. We'll just go on to the advanced search. So rather than just searching in one or two journals, this search for millions of different journal articles all at the same time. So there's lots and lots of information there for you that you can find. So what I'm going to do now is just do a couple of searches just so that you can have a look. So you'll know on here where it says early years, it actually suggests other things. So you might be calling it early years, but also it might be in their database as early or childhood or young children. So when you're doing a search, it's always best to think about the particular keywords that you need to use. So when you're doing a search, you can just do on here, and then what it will do is it'll search for those words wherever they are. So they could be in the author, the title, the keywords, in the actual text as well. So just to give you an example, so I've just done that early years one, and what it's done is it's actually brought up 486,000 results, which is obviously far too many for you to look at. So what we're going to do is we're going to think of other keywords that we might want to look for something. So say for example we're looking at safeguarding. You can see here where the AND button is, so it's just on there, and it's early years and early childhood or young children and safeguarding. So we'll search for those. So down here are the articles as they come up, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to narrow them down even more. But there, it's just articles as they come up, and it comes up with the most relevant first, but you can actually change that to the most recent if you wanted to as well. So if we scroll down, there's all your results down there, and we'll just scroll back up. For the minute, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you something, because if you look there, you've got the authors and titles, but sometimes you're not entirely clear what the article's about, and some of these articles can be really long. So what happens is you end up reading them for ages, and then you don't actually get the information that you need. But if you click on the title of the article, and you scroll down on here, you get keywords that they've attached, but also you get an abstract. Now the abstract is really useful because it tells you what the article's about without having to read it all in real big detail. So then it gives you more of a decision as to whether you think it's actually worth reading or not. Things that are really useful on this page is that what you can do is, up here where it says folder, you can create your own folder and add articles to your folder if you want to, but you don't have to do that, it's entirely up to you. And then on the right hand side as well, you can email the details to yourself and you can print it out. You can also save them. You can see that when there's a real lot of results coming in, sometimes if you do one search and then the next time you go back and do a different search, the same results might not even come up because you might put something in that's slightly different. So if you are going back to your searches and you haven't got time to read the article there and then, it's a good idea to save it because then you can go back. On here as well, we've got a citation button. So when you're doing your referencing that you need, you can click on the citation button, go down to where it says Harvard, and you can just click on there and you get all the information that you need for your referencing. So you've got who actually wrote the article, the title of it, and then also the title of the publication as well. So in this case, International Journal of Early Years Education. So you've got all the information there that you need. So these online journals, these are just PDF versions. They're exactly the same as what it would be if you had that physical journal in front of you. When you click on the full text, this is when the actual article comes up. There we go. So again, that just depends on what the article looked like. So they're not the same when you bring them up, it's just the same as it would have been in the actual journal. So again, on here, if you're referencing this, you've got the actual page number. So you can see on here where it says page 53 there. If you're taking a direct quote, you will be able to tell what page it was from. So you've got all that information on there. I'm just going to pop back now to the results list. Again, with that PDF, you can print it, you can download it and save it as well. So even if you wanted to look at it at a later date, then you could do. Now, when I was saying about before, about a lot of information that comes up, you can select certain fields where you want to look. So here it is searching those words wherever they are, but what you can do is you can say, well, actually, I want a journal article specifically about that, so you can change it so that those words are in the title. Another one that's useful is you can change it so those words are in the abstract, because I said, you know, abstract is a snapshot of what it's actually about, so sometimes it can be useful to do that as well. Down here on the left hand side is other ways that you can narrow down your searches. So if it's something that you knew that happened within a certain time period, you can change it on there and just search within certain dates. When I scroll down again, you can change it as well. There's a couple of things down here. I can click on geography there, so it does search things for quite a few different countries as well. So if you do show more on there, and we think, right, well, actually, you know, I'm not really bothered about all the other countries, it's just particularly this country, then I can narrow it down and say I only want to search ones that are England and Great Britain. Just cancel that for now. And also another example down here is that if you was just doing a search generally, you know, you wouldn't know which articles were coming up and which journals were being used. But if you go on here on show more, this just gives you an example of all of the different articles that have been searched to actually get this. So there's loads of different journals that you can use on there. And again, that depends what you're actually searching, because if you're searching something else, then, you know, if you were searching child education or something, there'd be a lot more education journals that come up, because we have a lot of journals. Right then. So, the other thing that you can do, we'll just have a look on here. Take that out for a moment. If you put a couple of words in, and it might be a phrase, you can do a search, and it will search those words if they're next to each other, but it will also search them if they are just near each other somewhere. So you will look on here about how many results have come up on there. But if you've got an actual phrase, what you can do is, if you put quotation marks around it, it will just search for those words when they are directly next to each other. And again, this can be 2 words, it can be 3 words. So you'll find this as you're doing your assignments, there'll be certain words that come up where it's actually a phrase that you know about. So if you put quotation marks around it, it will search it as a phrase rather than just those words that are near each other. So you can see on here how my search results have now gone down. It's still a lot, but it's just to give you an example. So it's gone down to 74,000. So it does search when they're both together if you don't put the quotation marks, but it will search them when they're nearby. So that is a good way of actually narrowing it down as well. So, and then we'll just have a little go back just to the safeguarding one as well, just to show you this. Let's go back to the earliest one. So what I'm going to do is, so it's only brought up 60 results on there. So we might just make it a bit broader as we did before. So if you don't get very many results, make them broader. If you get too many results, don't forget you can narrow them down. But what I want to know is, is there any of those articles that actually have those particular words in the title, not just generally about it? So now it's brought me down to 48. So you can see there that the words that are highlighted, that they're actually in the title. So the main thing really to remember about EBSCO is that there is lots and lots of journal articles on there. So what you need to do is, before you're doing your search, think about the keywords, think about what you're trying to get out of it at the end. Sometimes there might be words where they mean really similar things, like we've just seen on their early years or early childhood. So sometimes you have to think about different keywords. There also might be times when you want to leave something out, because we could, this here where it says and, you've also got the facility to put in or and also not. So you might get lots of search results back. If you just put in safeguarding, you might get lots of search results back that are to do with adults. So you might want to put safeguarding, not adults. So it's really just a case of thinking about what you actually want, thinking about your keywords, and then knowing whether you need to narrow it down or broaden it up. There's thousands of different databases, there's thousands of different journals covered on here. There's also some conference papers and other things on there as well. But usually, you know, whatever subjects people are doing for their assignments or their dissertations, we can generally find something on there. So if you need any further help or anything like that, please get in touch with us, because we're here to help you. So, you know, please get in touch, and if you email us, just at library@hull-college.ac.uk, and we'll be there to help. I hope that's been a bit of a refresher, and I think that's it for now. So thank you very much.